Welcome everybody to another Hard Hat Huddle, the power of presets in under 15 minutes. So today we are going to run through how presets work and why our customers love presets. So as discussed in the intro, this is going to be under 15 minutes and we'll stick around after to answer any additional questions. But if you want to pass on this recording to anybody in your team, we're going to keep this under 15 minutes. So let's get started. So we're going to jump right into Revizto. I'm sure if you guys are looking at the power of presets, you guys are pretty familiar with how Revizto functions. But just for anybody on here who doesn't have a really good understanding of how Revizto works, Revizto is based off of XYZ coordinates, which really ties into how the presets really function. So what I mean by that is if we come into our 2D here and we select on something like our lighting plan, and we scroll in and we jump to 3D, this 2D plan has a XYZ coordinate. So if I double click on it, it knows that Z elevation, so therefore it's going to take me to that specific location. Now, if I were to click on the roof plan, obviously it would take me to that higher elevation because it understands that Z elevation. So we're going to jump right into presets. Presets are located underneath the issue tracker and underneath this filter. So presets came out, I believe, sometime in late 2017 or early 2018, and we've continued to update and improve these in each release. So first off, we're gonna come in here and we're gonna show you how to start a preset. So what a lot of you guys will notice under custom filter is there is an absolute ton of things that we can do in here. So we have 1,593 total project issues. And relevant to us, depending on what our role is or the phase of the project, there's going to be certain things that are important to us and a lot of just noise inside the project that we don't really care about. So we're going to come in here, and the first example we're going to give is maybe we're a designer and we're looking at issues that are just assigned to us. So David Ray is one of our licensed architects on staff, so we're going to pick on him. We're going to come into assignee and we're going to say, hey, you know what? We're going to look at just David Ray's issues, and we already dropped the number to 93 issues. But we want to be more specific of that. We actually just want to see issues that have a deadline, and we're going to come in here and say overdue and more than, let's see here, more than 2 days old, and he's got 14. And then maybe we want to take it a step further and say, you know what, I only want to see, or I only want to see ones of a specific stamp category or a specific abbreviation. So in this case, I'm going to come into stamp category and I'm going to say, you know what, I'm not really worried about architectural punch list right now, so I'm going to say none of, and I'm going to say architectural punch list, and I'm going to exclude that, and also I want to do LOD verification and also meeting stamps. And now we just boiled this down to 4 important issues that are overdue in here. Now, this preset, as you can see, I grabbed a bunch of things. This maybe took me 30 seconds to a minute to be able to do. And the amount of clicks on there, if you have to do that every single time you jump in the project, can be quite frustrating. So what Revizto has done is we've allowed you to save this as a preset. So if we click Save Filter, we are going to call this August 6th Power of Preset webinar, and we're going to hit create. So the beauty of this is when we come in here and we create another issue in here, so I'm going to create a quick 2D issue and we're going to assign it to David, and we're going to make sure it is overdue. So I'll add that in there, and then I'm going to adjust this here to be to David, and actually it's already assigned to David, ironically, but I'm going to have to make this deadline past due to reach into our filter. So let's come up to the actual deadline, edit it, and we're going to say, you know what, we wanted that done on the 29th. We'll select done. And now when we come back to that issue tracker, preset filters, we come to our preset, and we can come into that August 6th preset and we can see that added in there. So that is one way we are leveraging presets. Now let's create another, let's reset this, and you're gonna notice that this August 6th power presets are here. We can see David's latest issues, and there is a little button right here. So the cool thing about this is actually showing that it's been shared inside of this, this filter. So August 6th power presets, you can see does not have that. So if we click on this and we wanna share this to our team, we can do that. But if this is something for me personally that I'm only, I care about and nobody else on the team is really concerned of, it's maybe a workflow that I really like and is the way I typically do things, I won't share that so we don't bog down everybody else's machine. So you'll see a couple of these in here, like my issues or current issues. I have a couple of them that I haven't shared. But if we want to share this, we can come in here, click this button right here. I can choose to do this, and if I click apply, it's going to send that out to everybody else on our team. So it's a great way if you're a BIM manager or somebody that's maybe a little bit more technical or familiar with Revizto, you can do that. And we see that happening quite a bit with things in the field. So we're going to go into another example, and then we're going to show you how that ties back into reporting. So let's just jump into 2D, and we're going to show all of our issues, and we got a bunch of them in there, right? But if we're just concerned about David's issues, we'll come in here and we'll come down to our latest preset and we'll click it. And it looks like we only have 1 or 2 issues on this specific level 2 lighting plan. So some of those may fall in the level 3 lighting plan, but because the Z value is not within the tolerance of this filter, it's not going to show it. So another really powerful way to be able to see that. So let's reset filters, and we are going to create another one for our field team. So we're just going to jump in here, go to custom filter, and we're going to say, you know what, we're only worried about issues that have a stamp category. Actually, let's do stamp abbreviation, and we're going to come into some of our punch list. That would be under category. Here we go. So we're just worried about some of the punch list stuff that we've been doing in the field. And the beauty of this now is we can say, you know what, we're also only worried about issues, and let's come down to status. And we're only worried about issues that are open and in progress, because once they solve it, it needs to be verified that that's been done by somebody else, not, somebody else is going to go confirm that that has been properly executed, and then we can close that issue out. But for the field team, they're only worried about issues that are open, that have been assigned to them, and ones they're currently working on that they haven't moved to solve yet. So we're going to do that. We got 336 issues here. And again, this would be one we maybe want to share to the team, so we can push that out. So we would save the filter, call it field team, hit create, and we just come down here, share this, boom, click apply. And now that is going to be located on all of our field teams' iPads automatically. So again, they can do this in the field and customize what they're looking for. But the beauty of this is when we're pushing that out and talking about workflow, we can just say, hey, you know what? All we're going to do is come into this filter button. You scroll down. We actually have a preset. Most of our field guys are only going to have a couple presets in here. You can see that I have a crazy amount on this project because it's one of our demo projects. But they're going to click field team, and bam, we already filtered out those issues. And just eliminates clicks in the field and the learning curve for those guys. Now, how does this actually tie into reporting and dashboarding? So this is multi-dimensional in the aspect that, yes, we can see those and how they apply in here. If we click 3D, it's only going to show us issues on here that are matching our presets. So as we're flying through the project, if we're in VR, or if we were just doing a natural fly through and we have these issues on, it's only going to show these 336 issues. Now, if I click up here and I reset it, it's going to show me all my project issues. But when I come into presets, I'm going to come down and we'll just pick on David Ray again, click it, and you're like, wow, okay, we only got 4 issues. So as we're coming through and we're going through this model, we're only going to see those issues that have been assigned to David Ray. Whereas if we came into a different preset that maybe had more, like this one has 16, as we're coming through here, we're going to see just those issues that are pertaining to that preset. So how does this tie into reporting? So again, we got about 4 more minutes left here, and then we'll answer some questions. But reporting is really, really powerful. So, being able to do this workflow and not be able to actually make, high-level business decisions off of it, really kind of takes us in the wrong direction. So what we can do here is we're going to come into our dashboards, and I'm going to say, you know what, let's come into this webinar dashboard that I'm already in, and we're going to add a new chart. And in this case, I'm going to come in and name this Power of Presets. And then we're going to come in and look at it. Let's do it by assignee and then add condition. So we can come in here and we can actually go in and replicate that same kind of preset inside of Revizto. So when we jump into here and we actually jump into the assignee, we can specify exactly what we're looking for. So similar to how we set it up inside of the Revizto issue tracker, we can come in and we can say, hey, you know what? We're only worried about, I think it was deadline, and we said past 5 days. And then what we're going to do is add another filter, and we're going to say, and we're only wanting ones that is any of, and then David Ray. So we'll do David Ray. We got 47 issues that match that. And then I forget what we did for a stamp category, but we'll add a condition. And then it was by stamp abbreviation, I believe, or stamp category. And now we said is, none of, and then we added a couple of them on there. I think one of them was architectural punch list. That knocks it down to 8. And then there was a couple other ones we selected. And then we can come up here and say, you know what, we're filtering actually by assignee, but we actually want to see by status. Or we want to come in here and we want to see this by stamp abbreviation. And once we get what we're looking for in here, we can come over here and click save. Or we can modify this the way it looks by changing it to a bar chart. We'll come in, click save. And now we can see that. And this is dynamic. So once we set up something like this, let's scroll to the bottom of the one we just created. Again, we can choose to share this information with anybody else on the team. So I can send this to somebody right now. I can set a delivery schedule that, hey, we want to be able to share this information. Let's go back to that dashboard. And once that information, here's our Power of Presets. So we can see that 37% are the ARC stamp, CCH is 12.5 or one issue, and we can see that breakdown specifically. So again, we can deliver that. So scheduled delivery, we're going to do each week. We're going to do Mondays and Thursdays, and we want this sent to David Ray, who is the person we've been picking on this entire 15 minutes. So I'm going to say David Ray, boom. I click OK, and it's going to send that delivery. So as those things start to populate and as people assign issues that meet those specific presets that we discussed earlier inside of Revizto, you're going to see those populated inside of that dashboard, inside of the report that's emailed to him, and inside of Revizto. So it kind of allows him to see multiple different angles of the issues that are most important to him. So again, guys, I want to thank you for joining us today. If there's any suggestions you guys have for our next hard hat huddle in under 15 minutes, we'd love to hear them, and I'll stick around here for questions. But we are going to stop the recording so you guys can keep it short. So some of the folks on your team may be more apt to watch the recording and have it a little bit more digestible. So again, guys, I'll stick around, but thanks again for joining.